so clever and classless and free, but you're still peasants as far as I can see.
The most potent message New World Order conveys, it's its refusal to flinch in the face of what many would call fanaticism, training a focused, steady eye on the subjects without hastily making satisfying knee-jerk judgment. Through the tears, constant rallying, paranoid rants, and hypocritical disclaimers of their subjects, Meyer and Neal remind us that these conspiracy theorists are not only to be pitied, are not to be pitied, but rather understood as people doing what they earnestly believe is their civic duty. They're rabid and frankly more than a little nuts. You know, I need to take these guys on, it looks like one by one, because we're more than a little nuts. I mean, give me a break. That's just, it's not only insulting, it's disgusting. Let's see. For example, in the impending apocalypse, red and blue dots on mail apparently determine whether you get taken to a FEMA camp or get shot on sight by stormtroopers. Listen, people have talked about the red and blue lists, which are actually real. No one's talking about their dots on their mail, but they're also determined and militantly organized group that dares you to ignore them. Every point of view can easily be accommodated by Meyer and Neal's sprawling footage. From the people that dismiss the group because they believe truthers want to simplify the reasons for 9/11 and President Bush's war on terror. Yeah, it really simplifies it, that there's a government cabal out there willing to kill thousands of people only to kill millions of more in a war for profit and really hegemony. I mean, they're trying to build what is essentially a Eurasian Union out there. Let's see. After these theories, everything becomes simple, as one truther says. To all the people that insist that they're just misguided by the personal pain, they have no clue how real we are, says another, as tears well up in his eyes. Even people that want to believe they're uncovering some hidden reality buried in grainy, almost certainly photoshopped images and so-called eyewitness reports will find plenty of convincing ammunition in Jones's words. What are you talking about, certainly photoshopped images? Grainy, blurred, photoshopped images? What is, I mean, these people are, I mean, you wonder why I get driven a little bit nuts. What blurry photoshopped images have I ever alluded to? Have I ever shown? Oh, that's right. It's zero. It's none. It's nil. Everything that I've ever pointed to are actually real videos and real photographs and real eyewitness accounts. It's called reality. Yeah, I know. Reality is very tough for some people. They just like to pretend reality does not exist. And I know that sounds, you know, a bit brash, but it's true. They just want to deny reality. Photoshopped images. Jones is easily the most mercurial and intriguing figure of the bunch. One moment he rejects the idea of being pinned down as the spokesperson and hence the originator of the truth he propounds, but in another, he eagerly takes his place as the head of a mob and curses Geraldo Rivera for being silent accomplice. Consumed by righteous anger. He casts the middle finger of blame directly. There's no middle finger. Liberally and is by no means an easily relatable martyr. Though he proudly proclaims that his methods are nonviolent, his spittle-flecked bellowing is an assault all its own. But he's also right when he says that we need this kind of muckraking now more than ever. He is right. That's why I'm here. Still, it's not the group's rebellious spirit that makes them pariahs, but their out-and-out creepiness and tactlessness. The question the film accordingly tries to answer is whether or not it's possible to fully relate to the pain of such insistent political proselytizers strictly through shared pain. Ultimately, the answer is no. But Meyer and Neal put up a valiant fight and never sink to the level of pitying Jones and their buddies. Who is this guy? Pitying Jones and his buddies. Give me a break. The characterish red state mannerisms that many truthers exhibit are never exploited, but rather exhibited as just one of the many defining characteristics. Some of these people are born-again Christians, and some are gun-toting trailer park residents, but shock of all shocks, none of them are inarticulate, nor are they oblivious to the fact that they're a persona non grata. Refusing to paint Jones's cabal as the boogeymen they appear to be isn't necessarily a daring act, but considerably the insensitivity of the group's message. It's certainly a humane and affecting one. I guess not the worst review, but give me a break. For people that don't know, the Muslim Brotherhood was funded by the CIA and U.S. intelligence. Bin Laden was an open asset in the 80s, despite what Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh will tell you. They'll tell you that's big-time fantasy land. If you actually watch Fabled Enemies, my latest film, we have the head of the visa department in Jeddah at the time, going public that he found out that bin Laden was part of the CIA and they were smuggling in Islamic militants through his base in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, through a CIA program for their asset, bin Laden. I mean, it's insane. How much more information do we need out there before people start to wake up to the propaganda?
Right. Well, one thing about 9/11, it's the, gift that keeps on giving, right? Because, at least it's still in the news with this whole, distraction of the torture. Right.
Well, yeah, you know what? It's going to be even more in the news because they're going to use this to really launch their City Year program and their Day of Civil Service. This is going to be their national holiday now. So they're going to further hijack 9/11. It's not just going to be the PSYOP that killed 3,000 plus people here in this country only to enable us to kill thousands of more American soldiers and millions of more citizens in the Middle East, whether it be in Afghanistan, the bombing we do in Pakistan, and of course the occupation of Iraq. It's justifying all that. It's justifying the detention centers. It's justifying the fact that we no longer have any Constitution of Bill of Rights with the Patriot Acts 1, 2, parts of 3, the Military Commissions Act. I mean, it's unbelievable, and now they're going to use it yet again to launch a holiday for fascism. It makes me sick, Cliff. Basically, people say, oh, you're racist because you want to close down the border in Mexico. Well, I don't want to, have the United States amalgamated with Canada and their health system either. The United States' health system isn't great either, but if you literally make it socialism, folks, it's going to get a lot worse. Believe you me. We'll be back after this. It's the InfoWarrior. All right, we're going to go to Dan, Tiffany, Gary, and Jesse in a moment, but I just want to read this little blurb. Robot warriors will get a guide to ethics. When and what to fire will be part of hardware and software package. Now, we showed you the big dog. We showed you the robo-fish. Here it is, the little, rolling tank of death. Smart missiles, rolling robots, and flying drones currently controlled by humans are being used on the battlefield more every day. See, this is the reality of this situation. How far are we away from the Terminator scenario when we have cyber penguins swimming around? Bring up the cyber penguin video. Do it. I'm going to read this article. I want people to see cyber penguins as I do so. Oh, man. But what happens when humans are taken out of the loop and robots are left to make decisions? In other words, artificial intelligence, AI, something we cover on here quite extensively. Like who to kill or what to bomb on their own. Ronald Arkin, a professor of computer science at Georgia Tech, is in the first stages of developing an ethical governor, a package of software and hardware that tells robots when and what to fire on. His book on the subject, Governing Lethal Behavior in Autonomous Robots, comes out this month. Now remember, they're going to program these things to shoot you. Let me repeat that. They're going to program them to shoot you. Do we got the video yet of the flying penguin? I know, I want the cyber penguin, Jaron. No, not the Pittsburgh Penguins. No. He argues not only can robots be programmed to behave more ethically on the battlefield, they actually can respond better than human soldiers. See, they're replacing the military with robots. Ultimately, these systems could have more information to make wiser decisions than a human could make. Some robots are already stronger, faster, and smarter than humans. We want to do better than people to ultimately save more lives. Lethal military robots are currently deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Let me repeat that. Lethal military robots are currently deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. There's the cyber penguin, folks. Look at that thing. How crazy is that? Hooj, on a level of 1 to 10, how crazy is that cyber penguin?
12.
That's a 12. From 1 to 10, that's a 12. Lethal military robots are currently deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Ground-based robots like iRobot's swords or KinQ's Mars robot are armed with weapons to shoot insurgents, appendages to disarm bombs, and surveillance equipment to search buildings. Flying drones can fire at insurgents on the ground. Patriot missile batteries can detect incoming missiles and send up other missiles to intercept and destroy them. No matter where the robots are deployed, however, there is always a human involved in the decision-making, directing where a robot should fly and what munitions the robot should use if it encounters resistance. Look at that thing. Look at its internal skeleton. Can anybody say Terminator? I mean, just wild, just total wildness. And Festo, they have the Penguin's not the only thing they got. They got a Stingray on top of it. I mean, this is the future. It's actually right now. It's the present. It's very scary and very worrisome. And we need an open discussion. Jason Bermas is anti-technology. And he's alternative media. He's twice the terrorist most people are. We'll be back taking your calls. Dan, Tiffany, Gary, Jesse, and John, 866-582-9933.